the Stepping Up into Management edition. Okay, I'm on site today because we have a sick contracts manager. So I thought it would be a good idea to talk about how to become management within the construction industry. I'm going to get interrupted and it's pretty noisy here, so let's change this location. That's better. Right, where were we? Yeah, talking about stepping up into management, or more specifically becoming a manager within the construction industry. So let's get started with a little bit of information. Firstly, what is a manager? So for this I turn to Wikipedia. Okay, so now we've got that down, let's look at the types of managers that you get within the construction industry. More specifically, the types of managers that I would come across within the civils stroke building side of construction. Okay, so let's look at what types of managers there are. Contracts manager, we have a project manager, a site manager, a senior engineer, a ganger, and of course the site engineer. Right, now let's look into the hierarchy of managers on a construction site. At the top we have a contracts manager, project manager, and sometimes a senior engineer. Sitting below them will be a site manager and a site engineer. Again, below those guys, you'll have a ganger and the general workforce. Okay, that's great. So what's the route to get into management? Let's take a look. We have someone that's in the workforce or a labourer, a skilled labourer, then a ganger, assistant site manager who can then become a contracts manager or a project manager. And on the other side, a labourer who then can become a chain boy, a site engineer, who then moves on to become a senior engineer. However, the site engineer can also take other routes, such as to site manager or project manager. This is the exact route that I took. Now, as you can see, there's not just one route, there's many routes into management. And this is predominantly based on my experience within the UK industry. Now let's talk about degrees. If you come in with a degree, you're most likely going to sit somewhere just below management, mainly between site engineer and assistant site manager. And you're basically going to have to learn the ropes before you can step up into management. So we've discussed what is a manager, the types of managers you get within the UK construction industry, the hierarchy of managers, and the route into management that you can take. Again, I must specify this is only based on my own experience and within the industry that I work in, which is mainly civils and building work, retail units, etc. I have worked in housing, have worked on tram lines, and all of this information has basically come from my experience of working within those projects and seeing what type of managers exist. Finally, I think it's important to talk about what skills you need to get into management, because I believe that it doesn't matter how well you know how to run a job in your head or how much experience you've got that you may have gained over the years, it doesn't necessarily make you a great manager. Knowing how to do a job and being able to do a job yourself doesn't make you great at being able to tell others how to do that job, or more importantly, how to manage other people. Okay, so let's discuss what are the most important skills to get you into management. I'm just going to bring my notebook in for this. Okay, number one, experience. It may take you any length of time to become management, and it all depends on where you start out in the construction industry. Obviously, if you start yourself off as a labourer, then you're going to have to work yourself up through the hierarchy. If you come as an engineer, there's several different routes. If you come in with a degree, you might be put on a management scheme, but I don't know if they do exist, because I firmly believe that most companies will want you to work within a position for a certain amount of time before you apply for management, because you need experience. So experience is number one. Knowledge of the job. So in construction you can work on several different types of projects, you know, from building houses to trams to bridges, and each one has a lot of different elements that you're going to have to learn. So you might be working within housing for 10 years and all of a sudden you find yourself in a position where you could become a contract manager or a project manager because you know how that system works. If, for example, you're an engineer like me and you have worked on lots of different projects, you might prefer to get a lot of experience on a lot of different projects before you step up into management. And again, your knowledge might be slightly limited in each of these areas, but your general experience will still allow you to be a manager because you know how to run the projects no matter what is involved. Hope that makes sense. Okay, I believe this one is really important. Social skills and people skills. I've worked with a lot of managers who have had a huge amount of experience within construction. They know how to build something from start to finish. They know what materials to be used. They know what they should be ordering. And they know how to manage the job so it finishes on time. But they're terrible people managers. And this all comes down to social skills, whether people can get on with you, whether people like you, and we'll talk about likability at the end. So social skills. You need good communication and social skills. And finally, because I don't want to go with a huge list on this, respect. So you need to know how to be able to give people respect for their job. So whatever job they do on site, you need to respect every single person, but also you need to be able to gain respect. And gaining respect is hard, especially if you're young, but you can get that obviously with experience, and it's just something that you have to work on. It's easier for some people than others, but you definitely need respect to become a manager. Okay, I'm going to finish this video now just talking about what I believe is the hardest thing about becoming a manager. Number one, you have to be okay that you will not always be liked. And you have to make hard decisions and you will fail. I have failed 100 times, but unless you're prepared to fail, you will never succeed because you'll never learn and you'll just keep making the same mistakes. You also have to listen, because even though you might class yourself as a good manager, you might not always know what's best for the job, and therefore it's important to be able to listen to others who may have more experience than you. But if you do want to go into management, as I have the last 2 years, I can say that it is a rewarding job. It's incredibly hard, but incredibly rewarding. So I hope this video has helped anyone out there who has asked me questions on how you become a manager within the construction industry and what route you can take. You can see that there are several different routes and you need quite a lot of different skills, but there you have it. Alright, that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed this little vlog, and I'll be back soon. Hit that subscribe button if you want, thumbs up if you liked it, and I'll catch you soon.